And welcome. This is a special Tuesday edition of the Sniper and the Pundit presents Top Rope Talk. I'm the Sniper. He's the Pundit. And
you're the Sniper. Who cares?
Yeah, I know. I don't know right from left right now. But this is a special episode. Yesterday it was my birthday, so I decided to take the night off. All right. But we are live now.
Birthday to you.
And we are. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, DVTV, and Stream TV. So catch us on all of these platforms here. Follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn, of course. See replays on Stream TV. And, of course, hit the like and subscribe button to Sideline Sports Network on YouTube. So like this episode, but also tune into the other shows that we have as well. So in getting the festivities started, we're going to go on to our first topic, and that is last night's Monday Night Raw. The Raw results from September the 11th, and of course it was the 22nd anniversary of 9/11. And so with that being said, we had actually a pretty good show. At least I think I would rate it about a B, But Jey Uso had his first match on Raw. He tagged up with Kevin Owens in a losing effort against the Judgment Day. Gable came out and challenged Gunther for one last shot at the Intercontinental title. But surprisingly, in the main event, Rhea Ripley was squaring off against Raquel Rodriguez, and Nia Jax made her return and attacked both of them. So, this is a brand new face. Do you think Nia Jax is going to be the one to do it?
Nia Jax, no, but let me ask you this. Just remind me for a second. Did they go off the air with Nia Jax sitting on Rhea?
Yeah, she hit a bonsai drop, and she got up and taunted the crowd, but that was it.
But they basically end the show like that, right?
Yeah.
You realize that the very first Raw start was went off the air with Yokozuna sitting on Coco.
Wow.
And then doing that. So
Interesting.
Vince's final Raw owning the thing is Nia doing that.
Man, that is crazy. That's so ironic.
But it's ironic. But this is the thing. You use Rhea, you use someone like Nia Jax to show Ripley's power.
Right.
To show her power, to show her everything. It's like, the thing is, Rhea Ripley, take one look at her. She is all muscle. Everything. She is all beast. She is all everything. The thing is, this is the new era of the woman doing it instead of the man, but with women on women, but it's the Hulkamania thing,
Yeah, it is.
It's like when you throw a giant in there, she might. I mean, the only thing about Rhea is she doesn't have an awesome Kong. She doesn't have an awesome Kong. She doesn't have you remember the awesome Kong from Japan?
Yeah, Bull Nakano and all of them. She hasn't had anybody her size to challenge her power for power,
Yeah, I know, and it's like the thing is, it would Rhea Ripley versus Medusa, or I'm just saying this would have been awesome. Thunder Blaze. Rhea Ripley versus Medusa would have been amazing in the primes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But it's but see. When we're talking about, you talk about Awesome Kong, you talk about some of the Japanese girls, some of the big ones, the Bull Nakano, all of them, they're not around. And then the way that the development center, it's like you get some big girls and everything like that, but it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to call her Dewdrop, but Piper Niven's not it. So you don't have the same, and I hate that name Dewdrop, but you don't have the same ones. You don't have the same types for Rhea. Rhea has a dominance. Why you have her as a heel? Otherwise, you'd have her as a babyface.
Yeah, true. And so before we move on to our next topic here, Jey Uso. I'm really loving his. Basically, he comes to Raw and it's like a clean slate. But he's been told hey, because of what you did in the bloodline, a lot of people don't trust you back there. So he's put in a position where he's going to have to earn his way back. What do you think about that?
Oh, good. Good. I love it, actually. It reminds me of '86 with Hogan and Piper. Mm-hmm. They hated each other for so dang long. They had a year and a half against each other. And then Piper turns babyface. They still don't like each other. They team up against common enemies, but then they're about to kill each other.
True.
See, that's what I loved. I hated smiling 90s Piper. Hated it. Because This Piper was still getting enormous babyface pops, and he was just big of a jerk.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. It's like I love when you have to earn your way up, and that's why I say I don't like common babyface ideas of. I love the smiling. Don't get that wrong, but I like a little attitude. And so you have to do something like this. You have to earn your way up. And what if he doesn't earn everybody's trust?
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Well, we're going to move on to our next topic here, and that is our WWE SmackDown results from September the 8th. Pretty great show. Jimmy Uso actually made his in-ring debut as a solo star. He was defeated by AJ Styles. LA Knight with another big victory on his way up to the top versus Theory. But the ending had him essentially, rolling Styles back in and then giving him to Solo Sikoa. It's what leading speculation to, is Jimmy on his way back to the bloodline? And if he is and it works, exactly how much sense does it make?
Well, no, you know something, the biggest thing about it is the whole thing about this bloodline is showing that it's family.
True.
Whole thing, it's family, which means we don't agree. We don't everything. Some of us might even distaste each other. We may just distrust, we despise, but in the end, we've known each other since we we were 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We're still, I mean, we will hate each other. We will beat the crap out of each other, but you better not. So why I despise the way that the Jimmy and no, I mean, not the Jimmy. I'm sorry, just the way that the last Roman versus Uso. It was a J or Jimmy, by the way.
Jay.
That the way that last match went. When the original idea was they shook hands and it was a tribal fight.
It was.
No one was supposed to be no one from the family interferes. Perfect story if the idiots and creative would have gotten something out of it. It's like he even stopped Solo. He even stopped Solo from attacking. And that was and didn't attack Solo back. Remember, that's the family.
Right.
And it's like, so see the whole thing, it could easily be the bloodline, but here's the deal. Nia Jax is back. She's part of it. Rock is supposed to be coming in. It's like you could be having a war. You could be having a family war, and then you could bring the old people in, the old guys in, to be able to try to figure it out.
Yeah, why not? Indeed. And well, going on to our next topic here, and that is these are going to be early picks for the WWE Slammies 2023 for Superstar of the Year. So here's how we're going to play this, okay? So real quick, as best as you can, make the case for each one and then pick your favorite. So real quick, make the case for Seth Rollins. Go.
Bunch of really, really good matches throughout the year. I see it's a really good matches and top, and plus the fact he's holding to his character well. The only thing I would go the other end. The only thing that keeps it away is the way that the storyline has gone with Nakamura, which I think he would have been right up there if he would have had some attitude instead of just playing the character like he did. Right. Especially when he and his wife were threatened. So I think that's kind of killed it. But I think the really good matches, really good feuds help him there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, and this may be an obvious, as far as being in the lineup, but make the case for Roman Reigns. What do you got?
Roman Reigns is exactly the 2023 version of what Hulk Hogan 2002 should have been. It's what I'm saying with this is like Hulk Hogan 2002 would have loved to have been the health-wise of 84 because it would have 90 and 88 and all that stuff when he was really healthy. Mm-hmm. And he could have had some really blowouts, especially Japan. Those Japanese style matches, especially when they were the styles were starting to get a little more spread out. The styles getting spread out. You could have had healthy Hogan doing Japanese moves with Jericho. Mm-hmm. And you could have had something like that. But Roman Reigns is healthy. It's what Hogan would have loved on that thing. And he's had some phenomenal matches. And he is such an athlete.
Absolutely. Now, one of your favorites. Make the case for the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther.
Best Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Agreed.
Best Intercontinental Champion of all time. I mean, by far, he could be this. And it's like because he shows you can go old school and people believe it.
Yes.
Everybody knows. See, this is what I mean. Shawn Michaels goes up to Kevin Nash and says, "Well, people want the Spud fist." Meanwhile, Gunther comes in and has a real match every time, and people believe it.
I can guarantee you, because Nash hates the spot fest. I guarantee you, Gunther is one of his favorites.
Oh yeah, and it's I like Walter better the name, but it's like Gunther is Jim Cornette's favorite.
Oh yeah.
It's like that's why part of the thing is part of the reason I didn't want to see Gunther. I would say Gunther. I didn't want to see him lose all that weight. I don't care that he had a little bit of a tire running. I didn't care that he was a little bit of overweight. He's still going 45, 50 minutes all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going 25 in TV matches and main events without even a sweat.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. Like if you're not having an issue with your stamina, leave him alone because it's such a different look.
It is, absolutely. And real quick, he's now on Monday Night Raw. He's now on his own, as his new theme song suggests. Make the case for the main event, Jey Uso.
Yeah. No, that alone. Because it's the same with Seth Rollins. The thing that keeps me from Seth Rollins. Only thing that keeps me from Seth Rollins is I hate Seth freaking Rollins. I hate that name. It's like not necessary to add that right there because part of the thing is that you can put Jey Uso into a Star Wars or whatever. The name Jey Uso. Mm-hmm. It's like Seth Rollins is a great movie name. You can't put freaking in there. It looks stupid. It looks stupid. So it's like, but I mean, I don't like the thing doing it, but it's like main event Jey Uso is a perfect name.
Yeah.
It's a perfect name, and he's over. And he's over, and he is over, and he can work singles and tag, which is rare.
Very rare.
Works it very well. You know what I'm saying? It's like, truthfully, Macho Man could too. Which is it's very rare to go into that thing, and I think part of the reason is he can sell so dang well.
He can. Absolutely. And you might be against what I'm about to say right now, but you made mention that Savage in the concept of, great as a tag wrestler and a singles wrestler. So was Hogan.
Yeah. Hogan was. It's like they used to, when Hogan and Savage tagged up, they used to cut off the ring. They had great psychology together. They had all that right there. They cut it off just like a big man, small man. The only thing about it is I hated that it was always main events. I would have loved the Hart Foundation versus Mega Powers.
That would have been awesome.
But see, it was the whole 80s thing because Jim Anvil Neidhart was so short, it would have been awesome to see Hogan and Anvil. Mm-hmm. To get to that thing, it's like, because Anvil was nuts. You could have pulled that a little bit, as far as the little thing. It's like, and Macho versus Brett. Those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like, and then Hogan and Savage versus Demolition. It's like, you could have had a little more. They had to go play main event with the whole thing, but it would have been some great matches.
It would have, absolutely. And finally, make the case for the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Well, I mean, he's changed everything. Like I said the week before, or whatever. I was saying this. He's making his monster push and his prime at 38 years old, and his dad was ending. Mm-hmm. His dad was basically on his way. Let's see. His dad was born in 45. Mm-hmm. His dad was born 45, I believe, or 45. So you guys died in 15, yeah. Born in 45, he was, by the time he was 44 when he was in WWF.
Yeah.
So it's like by 38, by 38 and stuff like that, that would have been in, let's see, 45, 83, and 1983. You got to remember, the 70s was his whole world. 83 through 85, but he was starting to wind it down compared to what he was in the 70s. Cody, he's just starting. and he's flat over, and he does the smile thing, but he has a prick in him.
He does.
And this is what I keep saying to. This is what I keep saying to create about creative all the time. And I wish I could have a big meeting with everybody with the creative, just one meeting, and say this thing. Watch crowds. They start out wanting it huge, but look how big Rhea Ripley is as an asshole.
Right.
Watch how big. I mean, Charlotte gets big as an asshole. Every time she smiles, they boo. It's like you want something in there, and so like that, it's like just because you have an asshole tendency doesn't make you an asshole.
Right.
It means you fight back a little bit, and it's like there's the thing. Quit trying to say everybody needs to hold the American flag. I love the American flag myself, but not everybody has to hold American flagging on all that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be the baby face. Babyface needs to have a reason to fight back.
Have an edge.
Yes.
Have an edge.
I mean, it's why I as a kid, I hated Tito Santana. I loved Hulk, and I loved Hulk not because he was the smiler, he did this. I liked Hulk because he choked you out. He scratched your eyes. He scraped your back. He cheated every match. It's like it's because guess what? Someone like Big Boss Man come up from behind and smack him with a nightstick. Mm-hmm. He was getting his revenge.
Exactly.
Every time you did that, someone like Tito, he wanted to start out with a wrestling hold. That was why I couldn't stand about that. It's like it was the wrong thing to me. It's like you want to get him.
And over the years, this is what actually I'm going to say this and then go on to the next one. This is what actually caused fans to have a bit of a disdain for Cena because he didn't have an edge, because he wouldn't hit people with a chair, because he wouldn't eye gouge them or anything like that. If he would have done those things, he wouldn't have been, like I guess not over, but
no, you want to know what it was? He wouldn't do it until the match called it. Then he would do all kinds of things when the match called it. But he showed like the babyface. He's afraid to get disqualified, or he's afraid to get that. He follows the refs' rules. He does this type of thing. And it was like after he would show it and be a bit of an ass, but he would follow that rule the whole time. It's like that he was. Everybody kept comparing him to Hulk. Hulk cheated all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
He cheated. He punched all the time. He kicked. Everything. I think scrape your eyes with your boot. I mean, he cheated all the time. It's like people understood it when all the heels would smack you from behind with something. They understood.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, real quick, out of all of these names, who would be your pick so far?
Oh, Cody Rhodes, because he's changing the world.
Okay.
He's changed the world based off the fact that he not only started a company, got it to like 10, 15,000, and it's that same company has got 81,000.
Yeah.
To that point where it's by itself, and he did it. And then he comes back and becomes bigger.
Yeah.
And it's like, and do you know what he is? I've met him twice. He's about maybe 6'1". Mm-hmm. The broad shoulders. He's not that big. It's like not that big. I'm talking about my wrestling now. Of course, he'd blow me away. I'm not saying anything. I'm 6'3". He'd blow me away. I'm saying in comparison to what people are at, he's not that big. But people believe it, and I'll tell you what made that now. UFC.
Yeah.
UFC. What from the beginning when Keith Hackney, what we can say, bitch slapped. Bitch slapped Manny Yarborough, 600 pounds. The guy goes over like a tree.
Yeah. And
it's like from there on out, people just started seeing. I mean, you have a 175-pound guy, skinny guy. Doing doing triangle chokes on 260-pound severed.
Yeah.
People saw, and it's like you don't have to get it anymore. You don't have a Haas on Bonanza. It's like that guy can win with the right kind of offense.
Yes, absolutely, he can. So, all right, our next topic here, and that is we're going to go a little bit, outside of wrestling, but also keep within it, and that is regarding the Texas Longhorns from this past weekend. So before their game at Alabama, they dropped a hype vid. It was an awesome hype vid, me being a Longhorns fan myself, featuring the Undertaker. They showed him, he narrated it, they had all these clips and everything. Well, it proved to help because they defeated the Crimson Tide 34-24. So your thoughts about that whole thing? We all know Undertaker, those who all don't remember, he actually was at at College Game Day last year for the matchup in Austin when it was Alabama at Texas, and he showed up with the Longhorn shirt on. He gave his pick. I got my Longhorns to win it and everything. He's been a lifelong Horns fan. Your thoughts about this whole thing?
Taker is enjoying retirement. He needs to stay that way. And this is the truth. He has the whole death and despair and everything with his gimmick off the thing. He was with Michelle McCool, and they go to church on Sundays.
Yeah.
They go to church on Sundays, and he says, I mean, the dude's as chill as you can be able to get. And I mean, there's videos like when he was closest to retirement, he didn't care anymore, of him raising money for churches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As Mark Calloway, I believe. But the thing is, he's enjoying retirement now. This is the thing with Undertaker. He respected he's the last respecter of the business.
He is.
He is the last respecter of gimmick and business. It's like maybe not the very last, because MJF still does.
Yeah.
But MJF still does. He still loves being a heel. He still loves pulling the thing. But Taker came in around a time. Remember, he started so long ago that he came in around the time where you protected the business, and he still wanted to.
Yeah.
And the thing is, now he has nothing to protect anymore. Go to church on Sundays, love his Texas Longhorns, which only people that knew that was Jim Ross, because he's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And
that is true.
He's Oklahoma, and that's the only person that knew. And it's like, enjoy his Longhorns, go to church on Sundays, enjoy his kids. Glad he's doing things like this. I'd like to see a few more, but enjoy life.
This just goes to show how much of an icon he really is, because the very players that he was hyping up in that video, their parents grew up watching him.
Yes.
So it's not like they don't know who he is.
Oh, I know. No. It's like Taker still has an awesome look. Taker's going to have an awesome look at 70.
He's always going to, yeah.
If you want to know, here's the deal. You want to know with Taker, you want to know what he's going to be from like 60 years old on. You know what he's going to be? Biker Taker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because with the Biker Taker gimmick, you can pull, just like Hulk, you can pull the do-rag around. You don't have to show the hair and everything. He's still going to work out, so you're going to see some guns. And the thing like that, you're always going to have the look. The dead man's going to make him look old.
Yeah.
But from there on out, when you see him on camera, it's going to be Biker.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we got about 6 minutes left. I'm going to touch these real briefly. And that is from Surfer Boy to Vengeance, the legacy of Sting. His transformation through the years he's always been a beloved babyface, but from the vibrant, colorful, the blonde hair with the ducktail and everything. And then he seemingly turned into Batman sometime around 1996, 97. So your thoughts on him, and what was your particular favorite about him?
Well, as far as the Surfer Sting, he was lucky he had WCW, because he would have been lost in Hogan. True. He would have been lost. I mean, people do not understand. When you have gray, you understand. When you have 40 years old, you understand.
Right.
When you have all that, you understand the difference with how big this guy. I mean, literally a story that Brooke Hogan said. She started it first. That Michael Jackson went up to them to apologize to him for moving them to the back. That's how big Hogan was. That Michael Jackson comes to you, Michael Jackson goes no one. And Michael Jackson goes no one. He actually went up to Hulk with his family. Sorry about holding you to the back, because I wanted to see. You see, he knew who Hulk Hogan was. That's how Michael Jackson. That's how big the guy was. So Sting would have been lost. Sting got his own deal. Sting got his own legacy. He got his own legacy, even if it was smaller. But Ric Flair helped him.
Yes, he did.
Ric Flair helped him, not Lex Luger, because given Sting was not good. Ric Flair played for 3 years between babyface and heel, between tag teams, until he left. They all worked together, and Sting got good.
Yes, he got absolutely good. Real
quickly, what did you think of it? What do you like?
Man, especially, whenever you it comes a point in time you got to reinvent yourself. And I think Sting was kind of, believe it or not, inspired by Hulk Hogan, because he reinvented himself when he became Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
He had to get dark. He had to get nastier, right? Sting did the same thing. He just stayed a face. He
Yeah.
became the mysterious, and Sting's from like the same era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was like, I gotta have an edge to me. That was the one thing that was really missing from Surfer Boy Sting. He didn't have an edge, but he transformed at the right time because it was right
Yeah.
around this time period. Audiences started appreciating the edgy hero. So
Yeah.
when he started showing up dressed like the Crow with a vulture on his shoulders, and he come down and start swinging a bat, bro, that was the best.
Oh
97
no.
Sting is undefeated. Is
Jeez.
undefeated.
It was fun. It was fun.
Absolutely. Well, got 3 minutes left before we actually the next one. We'll have to do this one next week. It's gonna be our Finishers
I'll
review.
go quick. Let's see. Hogan Warrior 2 should never happen. Let's do the Vader one now. No, it should never happen. Done.
All right.
Okay.
And okay, debate on Vader's legacy should have culminated as him as WWF champion.
Here's the issue with Vader. It was like this is the one big thing. I watch him with UWFI. I watch him in Japan. They have to work their absolute living tail off to get him down.
Okay.
He is a mean, nasty, exceptionally dangerous, and athletic big man.
Yes.
I mean, and what does he do when he's in America? He does that one spot where he comes into the thing and splashes on you and catches you, and then you catch him and you think. He started that with Steve Williams. It got to the point where Brian Pillman did it to him. It got to the point where all that kind of stuff. It's the same with One Man Gang. Like when both Macho Man and Lanny Poffo were slamming him around and throwing him around outside of the ring, and they're 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. When you're that big and you're in the ring, who's the crowd going to believe? Whether you're heel or face, how dangerous can you be? And the thing about Vader, he threw himself around so dang much and bounced so much that he got himself hurt. He should have been. I don't think he was that dangerous in America.
True.
Outside of Sting.
Yeah.
Outside of Sting. Sting he destroyed. And then Sting had to come back.
He had to come back. He did. He beat Sting for the title, as a matter of fact.
Well, destroyed him. He should have been that way all the time.
All the way, yep.
He should have been that way all the time. But then because he kept bouncing, he just kept doing all the moves, getting everything, and I think he hurt his legacy more. And as far as WWF champion, he was too overweight.
True.
What did you think of Vader?
He also was past prime as well, but I would have loved to have seen him. Actually, you know what? I think that Vader, by the time he came to WWF, because he'd already done so much in WCW in Japan and everything, I don't think he cared about winning a championship in WWF. I think that he was there to help everybody else. He wanted to be a monster heel, an occasional face, and then call it. That was it. He wasn't going to be there that long anyway. He was out of the WWF by like late 98 anyway. So but outside of that, man, one of the greatest monster heels ever, and there's plenty of tape to show it. I would put him at a top 10 monster heel. Seriously, just his look, the way he would come to the ring, the way he would bully opponents. Like, dude, Sting, he threw Sting like a rag doll, and Sting was 260 pounds.
Oh no,
so not only was he huge, he was amazingly strong, and I think that WCW actually dropped the ball a little bit because they could have put him on a pseudo undefeated streak like WWF did Andre the Giant.
Well, and that's the thing. Sting should have. I mean, the Sting, the way that you did it is the way they did it with Vader. Sting, I mean, they should have just kept doing that. Sting had to come back and go get him and then finally make him bounce. But Vader just bounced all the time, and it really drives me. That's when I see, you know what I'm saying? When I see, like when I see Brian Pillman slam him like that, or other ones, or he's doing that stupid skit. It's like Vader just wanted to show off all the time. And it's like, and then plus he banged his back up all the time doing that stupid sit down miss.
Yeah, he did. Well, we do have to end the show. Stay tuned for the Sideline Sports Show coming up next in about 30 seconds. To everybody, thank you for tuning in. I'm the Sniper. He's the Pundit. We will see you next Monday. Kirk, take us out of here.